Hi guys. So we're going to be knife painting. Look at all the pretty knives. Aren't they pretty? You guys are going to be starting this knife unit and it's going to be kind of cool. It's very easy to do at home, so this works out almost perfectly, if we can actually say that. I've tried using this little document camera, but every single time I've tried, something goes wrong, so I'm just going to try my phone. Maybe this is easier. However, you might get a little seasick as I start moving my phone around like that, so be careful. First things first, you're going to need paint. You're going to need a paper towel because that's how we clean them, okay? And then you're going to need the list of your techniques that's on the PowerPoint that I sent to you, okay? We're going to go through all of these. What I want you to do is I want you to do each and every one of these with each and every one of these. So you're going to be practicing a lot, okay? If it winds up being that your canvas that I've given you, and use the one that's slightly larger, because that will be easier for you to practice on, I think. Don't use the smaller one. The smaller one we'll use for our next work. But the slightly larger one, the one that's in between, well, there's two that are on flat panels. One is larger, one is smaller. Use the larger one. Okay, that's more clear. So what you're going to be doing is you are going to be using all of these techniques with all of these knives. I am missing one knife. You guys have one that kind of looks like you spread frosting on a cake with. I just don't have one here with me, so bear with me. All right, so I'm going to go up here, spreading. One thing about your knives is you do not use the knife like this, okay? You're just going to bend them and hurt them, so you don't want that to happen. So we always paint with paint on the back side of them. So here we go, so you can kind of see. Back side. Oh, let's see if you can. There we go, okay? Back side of the knife. Put paint on it. So spreading, blending, you're literally looking at it like you're spreading butter. I'm going to try to clean this off with one hand. There we go. Adding more paint on top of that, you can spread like this. You can kind of blend so that it gets smoother. Let you see that. Okay. That is spreading. Stamping is where you are going to take paint like so. Probably not quite that much, just a little chunky. And you're going to, wait for it. There we are. Stamp onto your surface. Yeah, the less paint you have, the weirder it's going to look, but maybe you might want that kind of technique and that effect. But that is stamping. Stroke is, okay, so the difference between stroke and blending is stroke is going to be, blending is going to be longer and you're going to try to smooth things out. So that's what spreading and blending is, okay? Stroke is where you actually take the paint and you just stroke it. Little tiny bit here and there. What I want you to do with all of these is I want you to try them on wet paint. So I've just tried it on wet paint so you could kind of see how that works. I want you to try it on dry paint. And then I want you to try it on paint that hasn't quite yet dried, but it is like kind of tacky, okay? So it's not quite finished yet in drying. So each one of those is going to give you a whole new kind of feel. All right, tip. Tipping is when you literally take a little baby bit of paint on the tip of a knife and you are adding little tiny details, like so. Oh, it might help if I could pay attention to both things. Oh, that was stamping. Tipping is little tiny details like this. Obviously, you'd need that for, wait for it, little tiny details. Okay, sgraffito. Ooh, I love sgraffito. Sgraffito is fun. You'll either love it or hate it. But what you're going to be doing with it is you've got wet paint and you scratch it out. Kind of like you do with scratch board kind of thing. So that's kind of cool. Edging and cutting is where you take your knife and you just put a little baby bit of paint on the very edge of it. Oh, can you see it? There it is. Okay? And you lightly touch it. Sorry. onto the surface like that. You would do that to like really define an edge on something. You would do it maybe for grasses, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's edging and cutting. And then scumbling is where you take a little tiny bit of paint on your paint palette knife and you scumble on the surface like so. So it takes on the texture of what's underneath. And what's really cool is I put some white paint here and I like finger painted with it for a little bit, and then I let that dry, and then I scumbled over with my paint, and it takes on a whole other different kind of feel, which is kind of cool. So anyway, hopefully that's all good. We'll find out. Those are your techniques. Now what we're gonna do in the next video, I'm going to show you how to paint something with edges. Okay? All right.